Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about something from last year. Last year we nearly ran out of cat food, so I had to walk to the store and buy some. Maybe you already know it, but here and there I said that I don't really go outside anymore, so going outside was already a highlight. Depending on how fast you walk and if it's raining or not, walking to the store takes between 15 to 25 minutes. First I need to walk down the street, and since there's no sidewalk, the cars can get very close. It's always scary to walk there. Hearing a car coming closer, feeling the strong wind when it drives past you, seeing it driving away, and even though you can't see it anymore, you can still hear and smell it. But walking down the street is not the scariest part. After walking down the street for some time, I need to walk up a specific path. This path is known for being not that safe. Many bad things happened there in the past, and there are still bad things happening today, but it's still the fastest way to walk to the store. And since I was always really fast, I could run away if I see evil people. The second half of this path is more interesting. Some of the people that live there have chicken. You can also see them while walking, and if you are lucky, you can hear the rooster crowing. This was the first time in my life that I said rooster. That's crazy. It can also happen that you see other animals walking there, cats for example. At the end of this path there's a house and often you can see cats sleeping right at the window. I also saw them sleeping there nearly every time I walked there last year. From the end of this path, I need to walk through the city for a bit to reach the store. I walked this path so many times in my life, mostly during my school time to meet up with friends. The last times I walked into the city like this was in early 2017, and this wasn't great, but I really don't want to talk about this here in this video. Alright, now that you know this path, I will talk about the things that happened last year. In the beginning I said that we nearly ran out of cat food, and that I had to walk to the store, but this was not the first time that I went outside last year. A few days before, I already walked to the store, but this was in a more secret way. I didn't tell my mom about this. She doesn't know it. Which brings us to the question, why did I walk there secretly? I had planned to record some videos outside, and for these videos I wanted to buy some stuff. One of the things is this here, soap bubbles. I had one of those bigger ones like these here, but I had a SpongeBob edition. I got a few of those in 2006 or so. I knew that I still had soap bubbles at home, but I couldn't find them, but I found other interesting stuff instead. And I will talk about one of these things in a bit. So, my goal was to walk to the store and buy soap bubbles and some other stuff. Walking for around 20 minutes to buy soap bubbles, and then walking for another 20 minutes to get back home. So much effort for soap bubbles. But yeah, let's talk about the things that happened on this day. On Discord I already wrote about this. While I walked to the store to buy soap bubbles, nothing interesting happened. But after I went outside the store and walked my way, there were 3 kids walking in my direction, and one of them had a bike. While walking I heard them talking. They simply joked around, and when I walked past the kids, the bike kid wanted to do one of the typical jokes with me. He pointed to his friend and asked me if I'm his dad, and I said of course. And then the other kid asked me where I got my shoes. I already knew that answering this question is weird because it sounds more like a joke than a real answer. I turned around and said that I found them. The boy looked a bit confused. He pointed to my shoes and asked me again. I knew that my answer wasn't that great, even though it was true. I found them here at home while searching for the soap bubbles. I want you to imagine that you search for some soap bubbles but you can't find them, and instead you find a pair of shoes that's basically completely new. After I found them, I showed them to my mom and asked her, and she said that she bought them at around 2011. Imagine that. Brand new shoes, chilling in our apartment for over 10 years. That was crazy. When I saw these shoes, I tried them on and they fit perfectly. And I already knew which shoelaces I want to use. We still had neon green shoelaces at home, so I ordered some neon pink ones, so that I have green on one shoe and pink on the other one. And that's when the boy asked me where I got them. When he asked me a second time, he also said that they look cool, so maybe he wants to wear the same. Because I didn't know if one of the stores there has similar ones, I said that I ordered them online, and that he can find them everywhere. And that was also true back then during my school time. I saw them many times and I also had similar ones back then. After I answered, he said again that they look cool, and the other boys agreed. I didn't talk about the shoelaces, but I wanted to go home as fast as possible. After all, my mom didn't know that I left the house. I said that I need to go now, and after I started walking again, I heard them talking about my shoes and my clothes. So maybe they want to wear the same. Do you want to know how I looked when I went outside? I look like this here. My shoes with the green and pink shoelaces, a black leggings, a black shirt that's a bit longer on my back. I always like these shirts. And one of my jackets. Normally I always wear simple stuff, nothing crazy. But I had neon pink and green shoelaces on my new shoes, and if everything around you is mostly black and grey, but does I mean the street and walls and so, then yeah, they pop into your eyes. These kids looked like 7, 8 or 9 years old, and they were not the only ones looking at me on that day. During my school time, I also nearly always had simple clothes, and when I had something cool during school back then it was a 50-50 chance. Either people like it and everything is great, or they don't like it. Jealous is a fitting word here. And then they wanted to destroy it. Once I had a pair of shoes that blinked when you hit them hard enough or when you step hard enough on the ground. Some liked it, but others tried to kick my shoes to destroy them. And sadly they got what they wanted. It didn't take that long for my shoes to stop blinking forever. It still makes me sad to think about it. But that's also a different topic. When I walked back home and went inside, my mom didn't notice that I went outside. But a few days later I saw that we nearly ran out of cat food, so it was time to go outside again. And this day was crazy. Right after I closed the door to our basement, I heard Mila meowing like a go-on. Even though it always sounded funny, it always made me sad to leave Mila alone. While walking, I also saw some of the chickens again. A bit later, I saw a woman walking into a bank. She left her 3 kids in the car. I saw them playing around, and they accidentally activated a car alarm. I don't know how they did it. Maybe they pressed a button or tried to open the door. The woman came back, opened the door and yelled at her kids. I mean, these kids were around 3 to 5 years old and got bored while waiting. No real reason to yell so bad at them. And yes, she yelled really bad at them. Shortly after, I nearly got hit by a car. There were around 4 meters of space between me and the car. They accelerated full speed backwards to me. I had to jump forwards to not get hit, and then I saw the hand movement and face from the driver which said, "What are you doing? Are you stupid?" It's not my fault that you saw me and still accelerated with full speed in an area where people always walk around. I got hit by many cars in my life, and getting nearly hit there reminded me of back then. And no, I never had crazy injuries or so, but I also can't say that I was lucky. Can you guess how many times I got hit by a car? I don't know the exact number, but I got hit by cars more than 30 times. This is really nice motivation, right? Yeah, I know, but enough of that. After walking for another minute, I saw a black cat looking at me. There was also a woman walking with her dog, and when she saw me sitting in front of the cat, she said hello to me and smiled. I smiled back and also said hello. There are still nice people here and there. It's just so hard to find them. The staring contest with me and the black cat continued for a bit, but at some point I won and continued walking to the store. There's also an energy drink called Black Hat. I like energy drinks, and I also had planned to buy some on that day, and I did. When I arrived at the parking lot of the store, I saw this woman from before walking to her car with her children. They jumped around a bit and the woman yelled at them. This made me so sad. Seeing, I don't know, 4-year-old children that are not allowed to jump around and having some fun, even though there was nothing bad going on. I walked into the store, and even though I arrived there in the morning, there were already a lot of people around. If we ignore the other day, then I can say that it's been a few years since I walked to the store. And since I had enough time, I looked around, trying to find some interesting stuff. While looking around, I found this here, a Bowser monster truck. This was really interesting to see. I still have nearly all of my Hot Wheels from back then. These were the first ones that I got when I was a child. I got them from a friend from my oldest sister. I also traded them with friends, and I also simply gave some away. Not everyone got great toys back then. While looking around, I saw a young girl running through the store many times. A little later, I was standing at a corner and looked at my phone. She ran past me, then she walked backwards and looked at my shoes, then at my clothes, and then at my face. She smiled and ran away. I also saw the same sweets and snacks that I often bought back then during my school time. At the beginning of the store is a bakery, and at the other end of the store you can also buy some bakery stuff. I talked with my mom about buying some of the bakery stuff, and I did. While I was standing there, thinking what to buy, I saw and heard a girl running around again. After that, I got some cat food and searched for some nice energy drinks. I grabbed a few and looked for some other stuff. While standing at a different corner, I saw the girl running into my direction. She stopped 2 meters or so in front of me and walked more slowly. She looked at my shoes, clothes, and at my face again. She smiled and said hello very shyly. I also smiled and said hello, and then she slowly walked away while still looking and smiling at me. I guess she really liked my shoes with these shoelaces, but maybe she liked my entire style. Who knows? Something interesting that I noticed during my school time was that many children stared at me. It doesn't matter if I was standing or walking somewhere outside, or while shopping, or while sitting in a bus, but I don't know the real reason why they often stared at me. One reason that many girls back then liked to look at my face is because they liked my eyes, but not simply my eye color or so, no. Back then my eyelashes were very visible, and many liked it. Some also got jealous, but yeah, this can happen everywhere with everything. My older sister also noticed my eyelashes at some point back then. She also liked it. Another reason that people liked to look at my face was, when they looked at my face, they remembered many different things. Maybe a really funny joke that I made, maybe a deep talk that we had, or simply the time that we spent together because we were friends. Often enough I saw friends and other people looking at my face, and they started to smile and laugh. The memories of good times are strong. It can also happen to me that I see someone or think about a funny moment from back then, and then I need to laugh. This also happened often enough during the night when I tried to sleep, but because I had to laugh, it made falling asleep even harder for me. Often it also happened that you sit somewhere and you look around, and it can happen that you accidentally look at someone and that person also looks at you at the same time. This is one of those simple things that can be funny, and here and there it happened to me too. And depending on the other person, making a light smile or so can make the other person smile too. Of course there are also these people, when they see you, you can see how annoyed they are. For me it happened mostly because they didn't like me, but that's also a different topic. I also bought some soap bubbles again, and I also bought some nail color stuff. Both reminded me of back then. Soap bubbles were always beautiful to see, and the nail color stuff, this wasn't really a big thing during my school time, but some girls liked it here and there, and I made their nails and they really liked it. I also did that during school. Imagine you see someone sitting with some girls on the bench on the schoolyard, and he is making their nails or hair, but even outside of school I did that. Most people were surprised how much I know about all this stuff. Later while standing at the checkout, I looked around and saw the girl again. She also saw me and smiled shyly at me again. In the picture you can see it. I was unsure how to write this in English, waving at her or waving my hand at her. I'm still a bit unsure about it, but I guess you know what I mean. I waved my hand at her and she waved back. After I finished buying everything, I walked outside, and shortly before I went outside the store, we saw us again. We smiled and waved our hands the last time. This was basically a goodbye. This is one of the small things that can make you and other people stay great. It's so simple, and you don't even need to talk or so. A bit later while walking on the sidewalk, I saw a car driving into my direction. It got closer to me, turned a bit more to me, and accelerated, and I nearly got hit by it. Right before I wanted to jump to the side, the car stopped right in front of me. Getting nearly hit by a car 2 times in one day. That's crazy. But it also makes me sad. There are multiple things that I didn't wrote on Discord. I didn't want to write too much about bad things there. At the beginning of this specific path, I mean near this house where you can see cats sleeping at the window, I saw 2 girls sitting there on a wall. How old were they? One girl looked like 15 and the other one could be 18. I don't want to talk too much about this. The only thing I want to say is, they were into drugs. and this is one of the things that this path was known for. There are multiple spots in the areas around our old apartment where you can see people taking drugs. You can also easily buy them if you know where to go. From our old apartment, I only needed to walk for a few minutes to buy some, and it doesn't even matter in which direction I would go. And this path is also one of those spots. There's also a specific staircase. But in all these years that I walked there, this staircase was always unusable because all the grass and bushes were growing like crazy. While walking there, I tried to record a video of me walking. According to my translator, it's manhole cover. Did you notice how I stepped onto it? Many people have to do things like these. If they don't do it, they get annoyed, sad, or even angry. I do it for fun. It's like a special spot to walk or jump. While walking down this path, I hit some animals making bow bow sounds, but I couldn't see them because of the bushes and trees. I also saw some of the chicken that lived there. When I recorded the video, a car drove down this path. I continued walking and I saw the car parking next to our house. Two women went outside the car and one of them called me. I said hey, and she talked about that she saw me recording a video. I said yeah, I recorded the chicken there. She said that she also has chickens. And then she said something about creating. And she said I was creating too. Then she took out a little booklet and read something to me. Do you know what it was about? It was about God. And then she asked me what I think about it. I said yes and no. Yes, because there are some good things, and no, because for me there are more important things in life than the church and God. And even if I would be interested, I wouldn't have time for it. She looked at me and said, "You are honest." And I said that being honest is important. Both women agreed. She talked a bit more, and at some point I said that I bought some cat food for my cat, and that I need to hurry a bit to get home. She asked me where I come from, and I answered. And then the other woman was like, "Really? From there? That's so far away." I said yeah, and then I said that I walked this path so many times back then. So walking for a longer time isn't bad for me. I enjoy it. The other woman gave me a card so that I can read more about the stuff online. Then we said goodbye and I walked home. I was never into religion, the church, or God. It's way more annoying than useful for me, but I had no reason to talk in a bad way to them. Of course there's also this talking good about you to get you into it, but this doesn't really affect me. When I arrived at home, I couldn't resist. I had to play with the soap bubbles. And later I tried the nail colors. Later on that day, my mom saw me with a blue nail, and I said that I bought some colors, and that I had planned to color my nails for my tattoo streams and videos. I liked the idea of having colored nails while playing with this little keyboard. Since early 2019, my brother always goes shopping for us. On this day, I only bought one pack of cat food, and one day later we were unsure if my brother will go shopping on this weekend or after. This one pack of cat food that I bought wasn't enough for Mila to survive the entire weekend, so I thought about buying one more pack. First I was unsure if I should go on Friday or Saturday, but because of the risk of rain, I decided to go on Friday. At the beginning of the day, I went to the store again. I also went into a different store to look around, and there I saw this here, another Mario thing. Before I went inside the store, I saw an ambulance driving into my direction, and later when I walked outside again, I saw it in front of another store. I hope nothing too bad happened. While walking past the ambulance on the parking lot, a car accelerated really fast backwards and nearly hit me. There was so much space between me and this car, and they were in full speed into my direction. And there I saw it again. This hand movement that said, "Are you stupid?" Yes, of course I'm stupid. I'm stupid because I care about other people, while living in a world where so many people don't care about others. That's why I'm stupid. The only good thing was, if the car would have hit me, the ambulance would already be there, but I can't say that it would make me happy. This day was a sunny day, so I tried to record myself while walking. A bit later, I recorded this video here. Sometimes we saw a deer here and there, but once I saw one up there near the trees. This happened during my school time while driving home with the bus. Many people saw this deer chilling there. This here is the last walking video that I recorded. While walking, I saw so much trash lying around there. Empty packs of cigarettes, Google Play gift cards, and these bags from McDonald's and so. It makes me so sad when people throw their trash outside into the world like this. When I arrived at home, I hit my mom talking with my brother on the phone. It was a really bad timing because my brother was talking with my mom about shopping. He said he wants to drive today, so if I would have waited a bit longer before going outside, then I didn't have to go outside at all. But it was okay. A week later, I went outside again to buy more energy drinks. Am I addicted to energy drinks? No. I can control myself. And I also give myself limits about how much I eat and drink. I simply enjoy them, while also taking enough care about my body. After all, my body is a part of me, and it tries its best. So I have no reason to be bad to my body. And an addiction also wouldn't make me feel better. It doesn't solve the important problems that we have in our world. But that's also a different topic. This day was a rainy day, but I like it when it's raining. It reminds me of nature. I can't hate rain or snow or so. 2 minutes before I reached the store, I smelled something. Can you guess what I smelled? It smelled like fish. And after shopping, this fishy smell was still there. A bit later I saw a cat. This cat also liked rain. Or at least, she didn't have anything against it. But maybe she also smelled the same thing that I smelled and was hoping to find a fish outside. Here I also recorded a video. She was really cuddly, but sadly I couldn't cuddle the other ear. In the video, you can see this little cut on the other ear, and even though I tried to be careful, I saw how she reacted to it. Either it was hurting her, or it was too uncomfortable. I cuddled her a bit more, and after some time I went back home. After this day, I didn't went outside for some time, but then on the weekend, my brother went shopping again. Later he said that he drives to us, and that I should open the house door. I brought some trash outside and waited. While waiting there, I saw someone walking into my direction, and I immediately knew who it is. I waited around the corner, and after a minute or so, we saw us. Can you guess who this person was? He was one of the first friends that I ever had. We know us since kindergarten. I came to the kindergarten with 4 years, and shortly after I was 5 years old. Which means we know us for over 20 years now, but we haven't seen us in a long time. The last time we saw us was in 2017 or 2018. I went shopping with my mom and we saw him in the store, but we didn't talk that much there. Something else that I need to say is, I broke off contact to him in 2014 or so around 10 years ago. On this day when he saw me, he was so happy to see me again. Was I also happy? I'm always happy when I see people feeling good in a healthy way, so yes, I was happy in some way. The thing is, there are multiple reasons that I broke off contact to him back then, and one reason is he changed in a more bad way back then, but there are also many other reasons. We only talked for a few minutes, but in some way it was as if nothing ever changed. We both looked a bit older, but we talked in the same way as back then. He mentioned a few different things and I did the same. Earlier that year, I got a friend request on Facebook. It was from him. I accepted it and checked his profile. I saw a few different things, and one thing is cats. I mentioned that I saw something with him having cats, and he said yeah, he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cats. I pulled out my phone to show him a picture of my cat, and he did the same. Some of the things he mentioned were about depressing stuff. When I heard it, I thought, ah yeah, the typical things. I could talk for hours about that stuff. I said that I also experienced stuff like that, but I didn't talk too much about the details. He also said that he likes my new style, with my colored nails and so. When I heard that, I thought, is my style really new? You never saw me like this back then, but I already went outside like this many years ago. So, is my style really new? I didn't talk much about my style, but I also couldn't really say much about his style. He looked like back then, wearing simple stuff, just like I do most of the time. Shortly after, my brother arrived. I said that I need to go inside now, but it was okay because he was on his way into the city or so. He said something about his phone number, and I said we can write about that on Facebook later. We walked upstairs, and when we walked into the living room, my brother said to my mom, Pushi's colleague was there. Our mom was thinking about who he means, but it didn't take that long until she figured it out. A bit later he wrote me his phone number on Facebook, and we wrote a bit. Something that I mentioned when we talked outside was that I had planned to visit him before we move out. And yes, I had planned to visit different friends from back then before we move away. Why? To say goodbye. While writing with him, he asked me why I need to move away in order to visit him. This was hard to answer because I didn't want to talk about the saying goodbye part. So I wrote that everything was shit back then, and that things only got worse over time, which was true. And then also that I'm bound to my house, and that it's hard for me to go outside to meet friends. He said he doesn't blame me for that. He knew that something was going on with me back then. The thing is that he doesn't know that much about these things, because I kept nearly everything hidden from him at many other people back then, and didn't really want to tell him all these things, especially the goodbye part. But I also don't blame him for changing into a direction that I don't like. Something else that he said was, many Many of his friends let him hanging at some point, and then he was alone. When he said that, I said that I know how it is. But what I didn't said was that he also left me hanging back then here and there. He and some of our friends from back then left me hanging many times. So for me it was okay in some way that our friendship goes into a weird direction, where it's more about keeping it alive because we know us for so long, instead of keeping it alive because we like us so much. I know how it is to be alone. And I also know that he's one of those people who would try to stop me when they know that I want to leave. So this is something that I don't really want to talk about with him. But I said to him the same thing that I said to many of my friends from back then. If you want to leave, then come to me, and we can leave together. But today it's different because I work at home as a care helper. But at some point I will leave, and nothing can stop me, unless people force me. And that's something that I don't like. I don't like to get forced to something I don't need or want. And I also don't like to force other people, unless everything makes sense, and this is something that most people don't understand. And now I'm sitting here, without knowing what I should do with him. It's good to see him feeling good and happy, but it's not good to see him feeling good and happy because of me. He said that, in the last time, he saw many friends from back then, and everything was great. And now he saw me, and he also talked about fate. I really don't want him to be happy because of me, someone who wants to leave. But enough of these depressing things. A few days before, I had planned to go to the bakery to buy a specific cake, and some energy drinks of course. But I didn't feel that good on this day, so I wanted to go there next week, and I did. I went outside in the morning. While walking up the specific path, I saw a black cat walking there. She saw me and laid down. I got closer to her, and she walked around a car that was standing there. I also walked around a car, but she didn't notice that. I moved down and then she saw me. She moved under the car, so I couldn't really record a video. I continued walking at near the spot where I had a staring contest with the black cat. I saw another cat walking there. I went into the store and walked to the bakery to check if they have the cake that I wanted to buy. And they had it. I grabbed some energy drinks and walked to the checkout. A group of children was in front of me. They wanted to buy some sweets, and when it was time to pay, they gave the woman their money, but it wasn't enough. The kids looked a bit confused, but also sad. I thought, maybe they forgot to check how much everything costs, or maybe they never really had experience with buying stuff, money and prices and so. They were still really young, 5 or 6 years old maybe. After the woman said that there wasn't enough money, I checked the price and gave her €5. This with the money from the children was enough. The children didn't say thanks to me, but they saw that I paid for them and they were happy. Sweets and snacks were a big part of my life back then. After that, I walked to the bakery to buy the cake. I checked the price and walked a meter away from it to count my money. I didn't want to waste other people's time because of me counting my money. And yes, there were a lot of people on this day. When I was counting my money, an older woman stood next to me. She thought we were queuing up and that I would be next. I did some hand movement to point out that she can go first. She walked past me and the bakery woman talked to the older woman and she said, "This young woman was actually next in line." And then she pointed to me. She saw me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. And I said, "Everything is fine. It can happen." And we all laughed about it. I had no reason to talk bad to her. It's so useless. It happened many times in my life that people thought I would be a girl. It can happen. Especially when you see people only from behind. For me, this is not a problem. It can happen. It also happened many times online for me. After that, I bought a cake and walked outside. While walking home, I saw a group of people. A teenager with a bag, an older woman, maybe his mom or so, and a few other people. This woman yelled at him for some time, but I couldn't understand what they said because they spoke in a different language. I was thinking, since he had a similar bag like I had, maybe he bought some stuff and maybe he bought the wrong thing, and that's why she yelled at him. I continued walking, and while walking down the specific path, I saw something and I recorded it. The feathers looked a bit metallic, especially in this light. Later I saw another cat. She also walked down this path, but she was so far ahead of me that I couldn't really record a video. So I continued walking home. Later on that day, we ate some of the cake. It still tasted the same as in my childhood. It's definitely one of my favorite cakes. On a different day, I was inside the store and checked my list to see if I got everything. While standing there, I heard 2 men talking about my style, but in a bad way. They also laughed about me. And a bit later, I heard them talking and laughing about me again. They laughed more about my style, but this I mean about that I'm wearing a leggings, and also about my shirt that was longer on the backside. And they also laughed about this here. My hair was a bit longer than the hair for my gif here, so I was also wearing this on that day. On a different day, when I was standing at the checkout and waited, a family was standing next to me. A mom, a dad, and their daughter. Their daughter was sitting in one of those shopping carts that looked like a real car at the front, but this one didn't have a roof and that wasn't great. While I was waiting there, I heard someone crying next to me. I looked to my left and saw this family there. Their daughter cried and their parents argued a bit. Then the mom said to him that he could also put stuff on the, according to my translator, it's conveyor belt. I hope that's the correct word. He just said, yeah, I will, and mumbled more stuff that I couldn't really understand. The next thing was so bad. There was so much space, but he moved one of his legs to the other side of the car. Do you know what I mean? He had one leg on the left side of the car and the other leg on the right side, and his crotch was right in his daughter's face. There was so much space, and I really don't know why he thought that it's good to stand there like this. Their daughter was still crying, and when his crotch was right in front of her face, I saw her moving her head from side to side, as if she tried to escape it. Then she cried even louder, and when he moved away from this position, he just said that everything is fine, and that she can have a snack later when they arrive at home. I don't know why she cried, but putting his crotch in her face for over a minute definitely didn't make it better, especially because there was so much space to stand there. I think I need some energy right now. Do you know what makes me sad? When it's empty. It feels like as if I wasted something. When I buy a game, I can play it as many times as I want, but this year, I can drink it once, and then I need to buy it again if I want more. But yeah, these are two different things, so it's okay. On one day, I was in a different store right next to the other one. After I walked outside, I saw two girls standing outside with their backside to me, in the direction I wanted to walk. I had to and I saw that one of them shrugged or flinched. You know, when you hear something loud and you do this quick movement. It wasn't even that loud, but they turned around and looked at me. While I walked past them, I hear them talking about me, mainly about my style, but in a positive way. I did some movement with my fingers, but I don't know if they saw it. I wanted to show them, with my finger movement, that I heard them. Basically answering something that doesn't need an answer. I hope you understand how I mean this. On a different day, there was a girl with similar clothes to me. And by this I mean mostly black clothes. She had these knee-high socks in rainbow colors, but in her case it was butt-high. She also had one of those shirts that are longer on the backside, just like my shirt. At some point before the checkout, she was on her phone, and when she saw me, she smiled, laughed, and did some hand movement to me. She did a peace sign with her fingers, and her hand was sideways. She sticked her tongue out and made a specific sound, while posing in a more funny way. It was this bl sound. Then I saw that she also had colored nails. I also posed and we left. This was cool. One of the cashiers in this store had purple nails, and they were also really long. And I saw in the corner of my eyes that she looked at my nails, then somewhere else, then back to my nails, and then somewhere else again, on multiple days. On one of the warm and sunny days when I was on my way home, I saw a young boy standing in front of her house next to a carpet. He looked like 3 or 4 years old, and he had a water hose? Water tube? This here's what I mean. He had it in his hands, and it looked like as if he had a lot of fun shooting water around. He also shot it above him, and he looked really happy. Shortly after, the house door opened, and the woman walked outside and yelled at him. She said he shouldn't play around, and instead he should clean the carpet. The tone in her voice was really bad and angry. I really don't know why all these people yell at others in such bad ways. I thought, maybe he made the carpet dirty, and that's why he should clean it. But even then I wonder why she yelled at him in such a bad and angry way. On another warm and sunny day, I had to go outside again to get more cat food for Mila. I nearly got hit 2 times by cars at the parking lot. When I finished shopping and was on my way home, I saw a young girl driving around on a scooter. I kept walking, and then I saw a woman walking into my direction with a, according to my translator, it's stroller. 2 babies chilled inside it. This woman said to her daughter that she should drive more carefully, and I said that everything is fine. While I walked there, her daughter drove really close to me a few times, but there was still enough space between us. The woman then walked into the same direction that I walked, and we had a really nice talk. After some talking, she called her daughter with her name and said that she shouldn't drive too far away from her. Then she said that she wished that her stroller had a motor, or engine. We left about her joke, and a few seconds later I asked her if she called her daughter Mila, and she said yes. Then I said that my cat's name is Mila. She left and said that it's a great name. I showed her a picture of Mila, and she said that she had pets many years ago, and would like to have some pets again at some point. We walked and talked for another 1 or 2 minutes or so, and then I had to say bye to walk into my home direction. We had a really great talk. One interesting thing was, this woman was only a few years older than me, and I know her since my school time. I wasn't surprised that she couldn't remember me when she saw me. We mostly saw each other while driving home with the bus and so. We never had that much contact, but I had her as both, nice and bad in my head. Nice because she was also really nice to the younger ones and also left a lot with them, and that's the thing, she also left about my jokes back then. Sadly she was also really bad to others often enough. I guess that happened because of the other people that she chilled with back then. Most of her friends that I saw were mostly bad to the younger ones, but it was great to see her on that day. When I walked through the store on a different day, I saw someone who looked like Elliot Stabler from Law & Order. I also saw many other people that I know from back then. Also a few friends from back then, and a few also talked with me, which was something I didn't really want it to happen. Mostly it was just a short talk like, hey, what's up, how are you doing and so. But one really long talk that I had was with 2 girls. I knew one of them from my school time, and the other one was a stranger to me. While I walked my way home, I hit the stranger one talking about my shoelaces, and the other one said that she knows me. The stranger one asked, really? You know him? I turned around and said, yeah, I know, I said the name for my friend, and it was really funny to see the look on the other girl's face. I walked to them and we talked. While talking, it felt as if she didn't change, simply because of the way she talked with me, which was basically the same way we talked back then. Using the same words, the same jokes, the same face and body movement. It was really great to see that she didn't change. Something really funny was that, I'm unsure how to say it, but the stranger girl said something about that we didn't saw each other for over 10 years, and we talk as if we are best friends, and it's so weird to see. But it was true. We were really good friends back then. We know her since our 2nd year of school. We talked more, also about why I'm there, and I said that I had to buy some cat food for my cat. She said that she remembered that I always had pets, cats and dogs, and then she said that I'm still the same, even after all these years, and I said the same to her. The stranger girl asked me if I really really walked all the way to the store to buy cat food, and I said yes. And the other girl said that walking was never a problem for me. Doesn't matter if it was doing sport or when we met after school. We walked around a lot back then. We talked more, and I also managed to make the other girl laugh a few times. And at some point, she grabbed my hand and asked me if I really colored my nails, and I said yes. Then she said that it's been years since she colored her nails, and I said we colored our nails here and there doing school back then. She asked the other girl if it's true, and she said yes. We talked for over half an hour or so. But at some point I said that I need to go home now. Getting a hug from my friend didn't surprise me. We were holding hands and hugged hands so often enough back then. But that the other girl also hugged me as a goodbye surprised me. We didn't know us, so I didn't really expect a hug from her. One thing I really hoped was that she wouldn't ask me for my phone number, and luckily she didn't. You can guess why. On a different day, I had another long talk with a friend from back then. I was on my way home, and when I stopped to get my energy drink out of my bag, she tapped me on my shoulder and walked in front of me. After a short talk, we sat down on the bench, and when I opened my energy drink and drank a bit, she simply took it out of my hands and also drank some. Back then we often shared stuff, so it was okay for me. We talked about different things and drank more energy. While talking, I asked her if she wants her own energy drink, but she said no. The thing is that she drank more than I did, from my energy drink, but it was okay. I had enough in my bag. A bit later she asked me if I want to come to her house to chill for a bit, and even though I really didn't want that, I agreed, because her house was only 2 minutes away from the bench. I chilled with her way longer than I wanted, but I don't really want to talk more about it. The only other thing I want to say is that her house still looked the same as back then. By this I mean the living room, her room, and the area in between. It also felt as if she didn't change in all these years, which was really great to see. In August I wanted to walk to the store again. Do you know why? Not just because we needed more food. I saw that they have a pack of 10 energy drinks for a really good price, so I walked to the store and bought it. On this day I also bought something else, but I think it's impossible for you to guess what it is. Do you want to know what I bought? I bought a Barbie shirt, but not to wear it. I bought it to put it on my wall in my future room, which is this room here. Simply bringing some color into my new room. They also had a few more Barbie clothes there, but I didn't have enough money to buy everything. This shirt here is also a long night dress, and it was also really cheap. At some point, nearly every time I went into the store last year, I saw that they lowered the price more and more, so it was really cheap when I bought it. I'm also still unsure on which wall I should put it. Maybe I should wear it once to feel how it is. Maybe I should make a Barbie party. While I looked around in the store, I saw 2 girls walking around, and I heard them talking about me, and they were also pointing at me. They mainly talked about my shoelaces and my black leggings. At the checkout, they were behind me, and I heard more talking about my shoelaces and so. When I paid for everything, they also talked about my nails, but everything that I hit was good. In this store I also bought a few more clothes. I didn't have many clothes, and nearly all of my clothes were the same from over 10 years ago. I had a few jackets, 1 jeans, a few chill pants, a few shirts, and socks and underwear of course. While packing stuff for moving, I sorted my clothes and threw some away, because it was way too broken. I have worn these clothes for 10 years and longer, so it didn't feel that bad to throw them away, especially because there were also many holes here and there. After that, I only had a handful of stuff left. This specific store had many clothes for a good price. Every time I went into the store, I checked the clothes, and there was a lot of great stuff. They had everything there. Besides money, finding the correct size was the main problem. I always had problems with that. My shoulders, the length of my arms and legs, my hips, all the typical stuff. I still remember that they had great jackets that you would wear when it's raining, and I checked both versions, for woman and man. The man ones with the smallest size was still way too big for me. The woman one was okay, but I didn't have enough money with me on that day. And then there was also the question, since I don't really go outside, do I really need this jacket? In the end, I only bought a few socks. With more money, I would have bought a bit more, but it's okay. I don't need that many clothes. But it was great to buy clothes by myself again after so many years. Looking around, finding something that looks great, looking for the correct size, and feeling good while wearing it. On a different day in the evening, we were unsure if my brother would go shopping. It was already really late, and we didn't have much food anymore, and Mila also needed more food. So I went outside really late and walked to the store. I wanted to go into 2 stores, and I arrived at the first one 40 minutes or so before it would close. I got our food and some food for Mila, and since I still had enough time, I went into the other store and looked around. It doesn't matter if it's early in the morning or really late, but when you walk around in a store and you are nearly alone there, every time it feels really sad. Depending on the store, it can also feel really scary, but on that day, it mostly felt sad. After I got everything, I went outside and walked home. When I walked to the store, it was raining a bit, but when I went outside to walk home, it rained more. And when I walked down the specific path, I saw a group of people really far away in front of me, walking into my direction. Since this path is known for not being that safe, instead of walking past them, I simply walked into the forest nearby to hide. I watched them walking, and then they stopped near the entrance to the forest. They smoked cigarette after cigarette, and I was waiting there for half an hour or so. I really hoped that no one would walk to me, and if they would, then I would have walked deeper into the forest. But that didn't happen. After half an hour or so, they walked away, and then I continued walking home. This was the last time I recorded me walking home. also posted a video of it on Discord, and some also answered. One person said, "Please stay safe," and someone else said, "Sounds like the plot of an indie horror game." This was really funny. Alright, now that I talked about some stuff from last year, let's talk a bit more about the path that I had to walk to get to the store. Like I already said, I had to walk down the street that didn't have a sidewalk, and then there is this more dangerous part, and then you arrive at the street, then walking for a few more minutes to get to the store. I walked this path many times in my life during my school time. Here and there I walked this path to get home, because sometimes it was quicker than waiting for the next bus. Sometimes I simply walked to the store to buy something, but most of the time I walked to my friends. And because this specific path was known to be not the safest, I didn't want my friends to walk there alone, so I always wanted to walk to my friends instead of my friends walking to me. Often enough, I saw people with drugs there, but many people also got beaten up there. Every time I walked there, I walked fast. Mainly to get to my friends faster, but also because of all the bad things that can happen there. And because I was always really fast, the risk of something bad happening to me wasn't that high. Every time I walked there, I paid attention to everything around me. You can never know if someone is waiting for you inside the bush or behind a wall. And yes, this also happened there, hiding around a corner or inside the bush, waiting for someone to walk there, and then trying to steal their money or simply wanting to beat them up. Many people got beaten up, some girls and women also got abused there, and some people also got stabbed with a knife and so. The only good thing is, no one ever got me. But I can't say that I'm proud of that. After all, doing bad things is bad, so there's no real reason to do this shit. But sadly, some bad things also happen to people that I know. They also happened here and there to my friends. This made me sad back then, and it still makes me sad today. But that's why I never wanted my friends to walk there alone. It's simply too dangerous, especially if you are not a fast runner. Every time I walked there last year, I had my knife with me. It's not that sharp, but I also don't want to use it. But you can never know, and for defending myself, it would still be good enough. Often enough, I walked this path together with my friends, and I told everyone that, if they ever walk this path alone, they need to walk fast, because of all these bad people. There's also a way into the forest at the lower end, but because this was one of the hiding spots, you always had to look around before you go into this forest from this side. Seeing all the animals walking around there was also always great, and last year it was still the same. It's great to see that many people there care about all these animals. It also didn't matter if it was summer or winter. When my friends asked me to hang out, then I simply walked with them. Walking down the street during summer wasn't that bad because of all the trees. You are always walking in the shadows, but when you reach this specific path, there are no trees, so the sun can be your enemy there. And during winter, there's not much to say. I love snow, and I can't get enough of it. Of course, there's also this dirty snow at the side of the streets, and often enough my feet got wet, but I can't hate the snow for that. Sadly, in later winters, we didn't have that much snow anymore. Instead of having snow, either it only rained or everything was frozen. Every time I arrived at the street, there was the question, where should I walk? This question also happened multiple times because when I want to walk from the street to the store, often enough I can turn left and walk along this way, or I can turn right. Depending on which way I walk, I can see different things. Sadly, this question was mostly completely useless, because everything looked mostly the same. But the good thing was, every time I had to decide if I walk left or right, I was able to see nearly the entire street. So when I saw people there, I was able to avoid them most of the time. Mostly I didn't really care about which path I will take. I like to see everything and mix it up every time. Already back then, you were able to see people walking with their dogs there, and often enough you also saw cats freely walking around. This was always great to see. Something bad was, even though you could see nearly the entire path, there were still many spots that you couldn't see, and often enough there were bad people in some of these spots. This was true back then, and also last year. The best thing to do was, either you walk a more safer path, or you walk fast. Alright, now I will try to explain why I count going outside as something special. Let's start with the question, why should I go outside? To answer this, I will quickly talk about most of the reasons that I went outside in my life. In my really early years, I went into our yard because my family was there, but this only happened a few times and so pretty early. I also went to the kids' playground with my mom, but only a few times in my really early years. But later I also went there with my friends. Then I also went for a walk with our dogs together with my mom, but over time this happened less often, and at some point it didn't happen anymore. I also went shopping with my mom, but over the years it happened less often, and since the end of 2018 it didn't happen anymore. After that, I went shopping with my brother a few times in 2019 and 2020. I had to go to the kindergarten when I was 4 years old, and 1 or 2 months later I was 5 years old. Since then, I had to go outside nearly every day for many years. Kindergarten for 2 years, and then school for 10 years. I finished school in 2015. During my school time, I went outside with friends many times. Either we met somewhere outside, at the kids' playground, at their house, or at the store or so. We also chilled everywhere, inside and outside. Often enough, we also walked to the store to buy some snacks and so. And after my school time, I didn't really meet with friends anymore. I only saw them here and there. The last time I went to a friend's house was in early 2017, but this was not planned. It simply happened because she asked me and I had time. But I really don't want to talk about it. After that, it was the same as before. I didn't meet with friends anymore, mainly because I didn't have friends anymore. I also didn't want to have friends anymore. And right now, the last time I went to a friend's house was in 2024. After school, I had to go to these places where they should help me finding an apprenticeship or a job. This was complete shit. I went there for a few months in the second half of 2015. Then I stayed at home for nearly a year without really going outside. The only times I really went outside was to go shopping with my mom or to bring the trash outside. In September 2016, I had to go to these places again, and it was also shit. A few times we were allowed to go home early, and that's why I went to a friend's house in early 2017. A bit later they kicked me out and I had to go to a different place. Got insulted by the teachers again, all the typical shit, and after a few weeks I stayed at home. Here and there I had to visit these people that you talk to when you feel bad, but the only reason I did that was so that I don't need to go to these shit places again. That was the only reason. In 2018 I had 2 sniffing days in a nursing home, and a bit later I had to go to one of those shit places again, but I only went there for a few days, and since early 2019 I work at home as a care helper, which means I'm bound to my house, and during my entire life, every time I was at home, I either watched TV or played video games. Maybe now you can understand why I count going outside as something special, and why I wanted to make a video about it. And yes, I went outside a few more times, but in this video here I mainly wanted to focus on this specific path, many of the things that happened, buying stuff for myself, and also why I went outside. Mainly because of Mila. Buying some cat food for her nearly every time, and since March 2025, Mila isn't there anymore, but I still think about Mila every day. When I started to write this text here, I wanted to put this part here somewhere earlier in the video, but now that I finished recording everything, I didn't really know where to put it. Here you can see my bag. I kept most of the receipts from last year, and they are partly still readable. This way I can see most of the days I went outside. This here is from September. This here is late September. Early June, October, also September. This one is unreadable sadly. This here is from early August, June again. This one is from October. June again, October again, this is September, and October again, and August again. I bought this here when I had to buy cat food for the first time because of 3 reasons. One reason was because I like the stuff. The second reason was that I can make a loud sound in case something happens. And the third reason was I wanted to record more videos outside, and for these videos I needed more stuff. And this here was one of them, but I couldn't really record these videos. But I want to talk more about that in a different video. I also bought balloons for these videos, but yeah, I couldn't really record them. But balloons are still fun. Here are my soap bubbles, and I also found Barbie bubbles last year. I also bought a cute toilet, and a few lighters. Alright, I think I talked enough here. I really enjoyed going outside last year, and right now I live at the ass of the world. There's nothing here, and besides bringing the trash outside or so, I have no reason to go outside. It's sad, but there's nothing that I can do about it. Have a good day.